Hi guys, just trying to sort some stuff out. Bear with me. I was just doing some work. Affirmation page. Hey, there we go. Hi. Hi. Let's see if my chat box is working. Hello. Excellent. Hi, welcome. We are here for Mental Mondays. Can I draw on this? I didn't. Oh, I can. Interesting. Thickness. Highlight. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. How do you go back? Whoa, that's not going back either. Erase. Oh, okay, cool. Welcome in. It's me, Talia. And we are on Mental Mondays. This week I wanted to do... Oh, does it go over all of it? It does too. Interesting. I wanted to do my own Mental Monday section. Usually we go through my sister's podcast. She hasn't uploaded a new one, and I could have gone back and gone through an older one, but I did read I read a post today and I really resonated with it. So I think I'm just gonna go with that for now. It was a really, really good one about regulating emotions. So yeah, that's what we're going to get into today. It was called, it was something about what no one tells us about being confident, successful, and the ability to have healthy relationships. So that's what I wanted to do. I did do this one as a colored form. 1 second, please. Display. I'll turn that off for a second. I want to dox myself, you know. Leave. I can't remember where I put it. Might have been in. Affirmations. Was it that one? No. How do we view by large icons? Oh my gosh. Sorry, Obi, I just sneezed all over you. Kiara. Oh my lordy. Atamadia Fano. Hi, Hidia. Hidi, say hi.
Okay, goodbye.
Okay, goodbye. Wasn't that one restore? Was it that one? I had one. Hidia, shut my door, please. Hidia. Hi, Yomi. It's nice to have you here. Please shut my door, darling girl. I just had this. I had this affirmation thing. And I had it colored and it was really nice. And now I don't know where I put it. And I usually keep everything in the same folder, so now I'm confused with what I did. Oh, there's a self-care one I can put up. That's a good one, actually. Self-care. Self-care, self-care, self-care. How has the apex been on me? Huh.
That green wanted to build something, and this is a glitch.
What's a glitch?
And it only showed me her. That green one, it only showed me her.
Hey, what are you watching?
But Storybots.
Storybots.
Mommy, and then I fixed it by just going back and then it fixed.
That's good. You're clever. Can you
Can
can you please keep my door shut, baby girl? Okay. It's been good. I don't go on rank because I run rank with too many people, so my RP gets hammered. Yeah, I bet. I want to do some ranked. I want to get better, but I'm still just trying to get really good at Halo, and I don't transition well between games, and I get really shitty at myself. But my son's been hard out into Apex again. He actually streamed from my account last week, which is pretty cool. Streamed some Apex. I'm not sure if you guys seen it, but there is a video. He's there. It'll say Latrell Stream Takeover or something. Okay, so I just thought this was a nice one to have up, types of self-care. So welcome to Mental Monday. Is this week 3? Week 4? I missed that too, did ya? Week 4 of Mental Mondays, I believe, for this year. It's either week, oh my god, I need to check that. I'm going to check that. I'm going to check it. Is it week 3? Oh my god, I'm sure it's week 4. You know, these are things I should have organised first. These are things I should have organised first before I got on. What the heck? Let's click these clickbaits, man. Episode 2. Oh, we're episode 3. This is episode 3. Let's change that in our stream title. Episode 3. Update stream. Mental Monday. Episode 3. Okay. Sorry. I had to do some talking to Hidia. So we're up to episode 3 of Mental Mondays. So welcome to Mental Mondays episode 3 with me, Talia, your hostess with the mostest. We will be touching base on something that I read, and I really kind of wanted to break it down. It kind of resonated with me a lot. It resonates with me in a number of aspects of my life. I'm just getting our books that we've been going through together every time we start stream. So yeah, first of all, what you see on the screen is types of self-care, all right? This is just, I think, is just fantastic way to bless and manifest. It's actually from an Instagram called Blessing Manifesting. Now, I believe self-care is super duper important for us. There are so many ways that we can practice self-care, being physical, emotional, social, spiritual, personal, space, financial, and work. So if we start at the top where it says physical, with the little shoe there, physical types of self-care include sleep, stretching, walking, exercise, good nutrition, and yoga. Emotional types of self-care include stress management, learning about coping skills, having compassion, attending therapy, and journaling. So I journal a lot. I'm always writing stuff. Like, you guys don't see it, but I always have like a piece of paper and a pencil. Like, literally, if I'm looking down, most of the time it's because I'm doodling. I'm writing something. Something's coming into my head, and I'm having a chat about it, you know. So I think journaling is super important in that sense. So, whoops, my stream labs. Okay, there. So emotional self-care is probably something that I do a lot of. Out of all these things, I don't do as much physical self-care that I should, for a number of reasons that I don't want to delve into right now. But the emotional ones, definitely. I practice compassion a lot. I'm pretty good at managing my stress. I have pretty great coping skills. Then all those things, and compassion, therapy, journaling, yes, definitely all me. But a lot of those things there are things that I know that I can continue on working working towards getting better at each one of those emotional aspects there. So the social types of self-care are setting boundaries for yourself, okay? Hi, Tum Tum. Hi. How are you? How goes thy destiny? We're just here on my Mental Mondays. This is episode 3 for this year. Usually I go through one of my sister's podcasts. She does this lovely podcast that we dissect and digest together. But this week I kind of read something and it resonated a lot with me. And we're going to touch base on that and break it down a little bit after I finish this stuff. I was just talking about some self-care tips for us that we can do. So back to the social types of self-care, boundaries, setting boundaries. Okay, I was taught how to set boundaries from a very young age. I was taught a lot of spirituality growing up. So I guess I was ahead of most people in that sense. You could probably pick that up from the kind of person that I am, the way that I navigate situations and conversations. So boundary setting was huge. My mum was always like, you let people know that this is your space and that's their space, and try not to intrude into other people's space. Boundaries is I feel like boundaries is a complete type of self-care in the way that it really forces you to be like, no, this is my space. So I mean complete, like full circle, right? It's just like, this is my space. Fuck off kind of thing, right? Teaching kids boundaries is the hardest shit ever. Like, naturally, they want to be close to you, they want to be sweet. They get to a point, like, so my daughter Hedia is 6. She just turned 6. And teaching her boundaries is quite funny because sometimes she doesn't make a lot of eye contact either. And so if she can't look at you and see the kind of mood you're in, then she doesn't understand how far she can push the boundaries. She'll just be like, oh, but I love you and I want to kiss you and hug you and you're just the best. And it's like, but baby, I'm not feeling okay. I'm very transparent with my kids. I tell them exactly how I feel. I say, I'm not feeling okay. Would it be okay if you give me a kiss or a cuddle later? Because mummy doesn't feel like, having a kiss or cuddle. And she'll be like, oh, fine, that kind of thing. And I know that, when they're little and you kind of do like that, you like squish their cheeks and you like smack their little bum on when they've got like a diaper on, like a nappy on. It's like, you be like over the top affectionate. When they get a bit older, you can't keep being, well, you could try. I still try to do it with my 11-year-old. But like, I got to know that that's their space and they need to know that, I can't keep going into their space and intruding on their boundaries. Having boundaries is, definitely top priority for self-care. And yes, I always go off on a tangent. So, feel free to chime in whenever you want about whatever it is I'm talking about. Also, okay, in the social section, there is support system, having a fantastic support system. Social media can be a good form of self-care. Be careful. You got to be mindful about that one. And I mean be mindful in the sense that don't do like that mindless scrolling where you're disassociating. You kind of want to scroll with a purpose, okay? It's like, oh, I'm going to go check out that account because that account uplifts me and makes me feel good. Don't go onto someone's account who's going to make you, maybe question your self-worth or question your life or question things like that, hey? Like, that's just kind of you setting yourself up to feeling like shit. And we don't want that, okay? So positive social media is the key term there. Communication. Communicating in healthy ways with friends and family. Perfect way to self-care. When you're feeling low, is there a friend that you can reach out to? Is there a family member that you can reach out to, touch base with, to kind of just center yourself and to make you feel worthy again? That's the kind of communication you need with friends and family, with whānau. Spiritual types of self-care that are spiritual. Having time alone. Sitting with yourself for meditation. I deleted my Facebook over a year ago and I feel 10 times better than when I had it. Yes, I love that for you, Tum-Tums. I do. I go through this stage where I delete Facebook for like 6 to 12 months at a time. Like, I only keep the the messenger side of it because, and it's not even Facebook that I do my mindless scrolling on. It's more that like I have all these family and friends that supposedly should be there for me and support me, right? But they don't. They never ask how I am, never post on my, you know what I mean? Like, and it just made me feel like I compare myself and my worth. Like, say my mum would come in and she'd post like happy birthday to one of my nephews, so one of her grandchildren, but she never does it for my children. Like, I come from a huge family, okay? There's so many of us. Like, I'm like one of like 7 kids, okay? And it's like when mum does that, but then she won't make the effort to do it for my kids, I get shitty. So it was more like my family on there were making me feel, well, I felt like they were making me feel unworthy. But I know it's a thing inside myself and probably has a lot to do with some guilt because I moved to New Zealand 5 years ago. So I haven't seen my family physically for 5 years. So there's probably a lot going on there. But it's Facebook that I delete because I feel like it's people who should care and should want to be around me, right? and they're just not, and they just don't make an effort. And it's just like, bruh, just send me a message. Just please just love me. Like, I was sick of just pining for my family's attention. So I love that about you, that you deleted your Facebook. I think that's fantastic. I had the same problem. I have my wife and kids and an amazing support system. My mum always does that. I know how you feel stuff, and if you do this, you'll feel better. Yes, my mum is like super duper spiritual, okay? I was raised, I suppose, in an unorthodox way. I'm super grateful for the life that we had. I'm super grateful for the way that my mum is. She is extremely spiritual. She's extremely alternative. She doesn't do things by halves, ever. She lives life on purpose. She's covered pretty much head to toe in tattoos. She has dreadlocks. She's like a woman of the earth, an entrepreneur. She's a very hard person to, well, as for me, as her child, I feel like she's hard to live up to in certain senses. And my mum would help anyone in any living being, any living thing, okay? She's like one of those people that has like 6 cats and like 6 dogs because, she feels bad. Or it felt like a good idea at the time, and that. And my mama is because she taught us a lot of things like self-care, self-love, self-awareness. Well, she taught us the basics of that. So I suppose as we grew up, she kind of just was like, well, you know what you're doing, so you should just do it. That's kind of like end of conversation. I kind of, maybe about between 5 to 10 years ago, I stopped reaching out to my mum for advice in every situation, because I always felt like we came back to the same conversation. We came back to the same point where it was like, well, baby, you know what you're doing, so just do it. Just do better. You know better, do better. That kind of stuff. So I do relate with that. It's my mum, I don't think she doesn't mean to be that, to possess that toxic positivity, because I don't think she realizes that it is a form of toxic positivity when she does those things, like, I get what you feel, but do this and you'll feel better. But sometimes it's just not what you want to hear. Sometimes you just want to be like, you know what? Can't you just hold space for me? Can't you just hug me? Can't you just, just listen without actually having to say something that involves me doing the hard work? That's my biggest thing. I've noticed that people that have never really had a problem with their mental health don't quite understand the struggles. Oh no. Or it's not that. It's just they don't understand. People who haven't had... That's a good point, Tom Tom. I have a sister, and I've always admired the way that she does or doesn't handle situations. And yeah, we all suffer from some kind of mental health struggle. In my family, one of my sisters struggles from pyroluria, which kind of... It comes across as she has bipolar tendencies, okay? She knew that when she was younger that the bipolar tendencies that she possessed were, I guess, detrimental to herself. She is now a fully qualified, she has a bachelor's in psychology and her master's in counseling, and she runs her own business. She is the one that if you tune into Mental Mondays, usually this segment, we break down her podcast. She does this wonderful Be Light, Shine Bright podcast, which is what we usually break down some of her content. And she took the way that her mind was, like I suppose, the instability side, and she harnessed all the knowledge she could, and she educated herself, and she now counsels people for a living. Like, my family is very... And I come from a neurodivergent family, so there's a lot of autism in my family, ASD. 2 of my sisters, who one is almost 30 and one is 10 months older than me, they were diagnosed as autistic within the past 5 years, because autism presents very differently in girls. And so on top of all that, we kind of have a different quirky way of unpacking situations. So I guess it's kind of good that mum helped us. So we've always struggled with our mental health in one way or another, but we were given a lot of tools. And so I have a sister though who wasn't until much later in life that she, tried to address her mental health issues. I guess it was sort of like she knew they were there, but she didn't understand them. And so when she dealt with situations, it was so different to how I did, because I'd become depressed and full of anxiety and have panic attacks, and she wouldn't. She'd be like, well, what the fuck, just get it done, kind of thing. And I always admired the way that she was like that, and I was like, I wish that I could be and I could possess those kind of skills. Like, I wanted to be able to just be like, that's okay, we'll get over it, it's fine, and be more spontaneous and less structured. But it's not the way that I was wired. So I completely get that. They don't quite understand the struggles, and like, you don't want to push that on people either. So it's a really hard situation, hey? You don't want to push that onto someone. Well, you don't want to be like, well, you don't understand how I feel, so you can just shut up. Because everyone's at different, levels and points in their life all the time. So, my sister now is different. She's gone through that sister I'm talking about. I know I'm saying sisters, like this sister, that sister, or whatever sister. I have a lot of sisters. I have many a sister. I have 3 sisters. I also have so I have 3 sisters that are like immediately around me, like my age. And then I have a baby sister who's 16 soon, who's actually one of my sister's daughters, but my mum raised her. So she calls my mum Nen and mum, and she calls my sister mum, but she calls me her sister. Like, she calls us her sisters. And I have 2 brothers. One is 11, the same age as my son, and one is 16 soon as well. So my mum and my sister Ashen gave birth around the same time. So I've got my siblings that are like the same age. And then my dad was married 3 times. So I have a brother, Josh, to his second wife. And with his third wife, we had, they had Hunter and Ember. So another sister brother. So yes, big family. Youth. Hi, youth. I've ignored my anxiety and depression issues for that long. It feels unnormal to express it. Or if I do express it, it gets dismissed. Or I feel it gets taken as a joke. Oh, youth. I feel for you. I couldn't imagine what it was like to be like that. I use my wonderful partner as an example. And I never it's not bad, okay? The way I've kept mine hidden from everyone for a long time. It wasn't until this past year that I opened up to my wife. I love that tum-tum. I have similar conversations with my partner about like, oh, why do people kind of need to know that? He's kind of like, no, but when we deal with stuff, it's our stuff, and it should just be kept like that. And like talking about mental health things, and my outlook is, but you have a family who love and appreciate you, and it's okay to feel safe enough to express when you're not okay. And we've been together nearly 10 years, and him from the start and him to now, oh my God, we couldn't even have normal conversations about like how I was feeling, because he thought that he was either upsetting me, or do you know what I mean? But now we can like banter back and forth, like without going into too much detail. We can not so much banter, but we throw conversation back and forth about feelings. And it is honestly like one of the greatest feats of our relationship is that we have grown in that sense, socially, spiritually, emotionally together. So that he is at a point now where he feels like he can express to me, and we don't feel like we're offending each other. Maybe sometimes depend if I'm feeling sooky or if it's like that time of the month. Sometimes I don't take things very well. And I'll fully be the first one to be like, sometimes I'm a little bit dramatic. Okay, I am. But I'm also very... I like to take accountability. I'm accountable for myself, I think. I mean, my partner might say differently, but I'm pretty good at practicing accountability. So when you say that you've ignored your anxiety and depression for so long it feels unnormal to express it, I understand how that feels, because when I first got with my partner, he didn't really know how to navigate that. He didn't know how to navigate, well, this is how I'm feeling and this is how I felt. And I'm not sure if I should say something or if I shouldn't. Because you get used to, I suppose, you know how there's like when you suppress something. So like when you get used to suppression, it can be like, it's detrimental, okay? Just suppressing yourself is like avoiding. You're avoiding unpleasant thoughts and feelings. And so there is another word. It's because, you know, you're consciously, when you're suppressing, you're consciously, you're intentionally leaving out the expression of a thought or a feeling, yeah? So to suppress is to just like, it kind of sits inside and becomes resentment. And resentment isn't good when you deal with anxiety and depression as well, because it just puts like another whole load, feels like another whole load is just like banged onto your chest. So when you like repress something, you are like, so suppression and repression, okay? So when you suppress, you just don't want it to come up at all, ever. When you repress something, you kind of subdue it, you prevent it and inhibit it until you want to go and deal with it later. I feel that from the hatred for my cheater father, yes. A lot of stuff. And that's a big thing that there's this post that I read today, which I'm going to break down with us. I have a lot of dad issues. I have a lot of domestic violence issues. My grandfather to my grandmother, my father to my mother, and you know, and I have my own one as well, which is hard for me. I broke cycles, okay? Probably a bit of abandonment issues going on with exactly. My wife and I joke about it sometimes, and to be honest, it feels nice to try and normalize it and treat it as part of me instead of trying to suppress it and treat it as a broken part of me. Yes, I love that. So for me, I'll be the first one to put my hand up and say, I ain't perfect. And I have times where I sit and I cry and I'm like, I am so broken. So broken and idiotic and all those things. Like, I'm not nice to myself sometimes, which is why I think these kind of situations are important. Just stopping by to say, hey, beautiful, gotta get back to that. Hi, Sayan. I hope you have a nice day at work. It's so nice to see you. Put some hype in the chat. Have a good day. We're just talking about, you know, mental health struggles. I appreciate you. But the fact, Tom, that you and your wife can joke about it now, like, I say to my partner sometimes, see, that was easy, wasn't it? Asking for help. Stuff like that. Asking for emotional help. And I suppose when you kind of get raised in, so like, I'm in my 30s, so I'll be 33 this year. Even my dad, so my dad's only 50, he'll be 53, he's 20 years older than me. And I didn't see my dad from the age of like 4 to 17, like 4 to 5 to 17, with a brief period in between when he took me from school. One time he kidnapped me. They say it was called uplifting. He uplifted me from school. He had abused my mum, knocked her out, and then went and took me from school for a whole day. And then there was like cops and everything looking for us, and because my mum had a domestic violence order against him. long story short, I seen him then, so that was about age 7, and then didn't see him again until I was 17. And I get along well with my dad. My sisters have a lot of, and as they should, because my dad has not treated them the way that we should be treated. But my sisters have more personal issues as to why they're not close to my dad. I haven't spoken to my dad since I moved to New Zealand 5 years ago. Some stuff happened with he did wrong by one of my sisters really badly. And I haven't spoken to him. I have tried to reach out to him, but he doesn't want anything. And that's hard. That's something that I have an issue with all the time. My partner is an amazing father. And his dad is an amazing father and grandfather. And I have a lot of issues with seeing men being beautiful because I'm so used to them being, and my dad's beautiful, but you know, I had a lot of abusive men growing up, so I always thought men were abusive. That was my core thought, that all men were like that. So breaking that pattern has been hard and is still harder itself, sitting in it and feeling so blessed that I'm out of that. So I guess I have a lot of abandonment issues. My dad also cheated on my mum, which I get a lot of resentment from, and I feel like all men are cheaters also. But stuff that I can't keep directing out into the universe because it's just not healthy. So when you've ignored your anxiety and your depression, youth, the thing that you're doing there is you're putting out into the universe that you feel unworthy. And that's completely not the case. You are so worthy. Yep, all men have a hard exterior, the heart of the shell is soft of the core. Yes. So what I was saying is around that age, that like 50s to 60s, the way that men grew up then with like the lack of social media and communication and probably the lack of everything, stress management, all that stuff that we're talking about now, they didn't possess that. They didn't want to. They didn't care to. They were raised by men who taught them toxic masculinity. So when there's people like our age in our 30s and we live in this kind of like in between, so we're not one way and we're not the other. Like I think some of the kids who are raised off YouTube and that these days lack a lot of empathy, lack a lot of interpersonal skills, lack a lot of social skills. That's a hard truth right there, Tals. It is. It is. And I'm here for you, youth. I'm here for you. And I hope that you know that. So I'm always taking into account the ways that people might have been raised and not into, like when I'm taking it into account, I'm not making excuses, but I am taking it into an account that that's how they were raised. Been single since I was 21, and every time I've tried since I haven't been enough. So very hard truth. Unworthiness is, I'm sorry if I start crying. Unworthiness is a core issue with me. There's this song by Kelly Clarkson, and she sings a slower version of it, and she sings about her dad. We'll listen to it later, or I'll link it. She sings about her dad and about how when she needed him, he wasn't there, and she was worthless. And then now that she's older and she's richer and he wants to come back into her life, and how she has a partner who, you know, who loves her daughter, and it's a very sweet song. But it makes me cry so much. Unworthiness is I know it may not seem like it, but I feel very unworthy of love. Love from my partner, love from my whānau, my family, love from the world. I feel unworthy. And I know it stems from when I was younger. I know it stems from generations of physical abuse that has come through my family. But I also have this like spark inside of me that just wants to I want to combat it. You know, I want to break free. I want to feed the spark more and give less to those feelings of unworthiness. I'm sorry that it's a hard truth for you, and I am here for you, and I'm here for all of you. I do have a tag in here called "It's Okay." Hello, Hidia. And it's just saying it's okay to not feel okay. Please know that it's a safe space here. You can reach out to me on my socials, on Discord, anytime you want to chat, or like now, you can type here. You want to use your words and talk to me? Come. Do you and your brother want to make a pie?
I'm having my pie.
Do you want your pie or not?
I'm having my pie
Later, okay. Do you want to cuddle?
later.
Kiara, it's me, Luigi. It's me, Luigi. Hello, welcome in. It's nice to have you here. I have my daughter Hidia wanting to tell me what she wants, but not using words. Hidi, come. Come, my baby, come.
No.
No? Okay. What do you want to talk about? One moment, please. Want to cuddle?
No.
You like to watch some YouTube while I'm on doing my stream?
No.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, you watch some YouTube then, and when I'm finished my stream, you can hop off.
Okay.
Daddy says, hi, Miss Hidia.
Hi, Daddy.
Look at the camera.
Hi, Dad.
She happy now because she can go on the tube. That's a pretty name. Hidia is the best name.
Tube.
What do you say when someone says, that's a pretty name?
I don't know what to
You
say.
say, thanks, I know.
Thanks, I know.
Yes, she has a traditional Māori name.
Thanks
Thanks to her dad in chat and Zedism. Oh. And her sister's name is Nico. Where's Nico, baby?
She's at Candy.
Ah, she's like Indy.
She is right now. Okay.
Kiss me. Mwah.
What?
I love you.
I love you.
I love you.
I love you.
Go away now.
Go away now.
No, you go away.
No,
Go
you
watch your
don't.
YouTube before I change my mind.
Bye-bye.
Say kakite.
Kakite.
That's adorable. Yeah, sometimes we do streams where my daughters Hidia and Nico sit in my area, my tiny little area, and we play Paw Patrol. We were meant to do one last Friday, but we forgot. But yes, it's been adorable. Oh yes, back to my it's okay to not feel okay. There's safe spaces all around the world if life feels like too much. Mentalhealth.org.nz, lifeline.org.au, and the global helpline there, checkpoint.org.com. Okay, so youth. I do streams with my kids sometimes. Usually a lot of them yelling at me for being a clown. I love that. I love that. I'm going to give you a follow just because you said kids. You had me at kids. That's so cool. Whereabouts in NZ are you? Luigi. It's me, Luigi. My daughter Hidia, she always says, it's me, Mario. Well, I'm Talia. I'm in Auckland. Yes, I'm in Auckland. I've been in Auckland for 5 years. I am originally from Australia. I'm half Australian, half Cook Islander. I live in New Zealand. My partner is Māori. So my children are Māori. And yeah, I've been in Auckland since 2017. I miss Brisbane. I miss Australia, but I love the family, the whānau, that my partner has here. So my in-laws. It's really nice to meet another mama. Welcome in. I do. I'm a little bit of. I did hear a little bit of an accent there. I was born and bred in Auckland. Nice. I'm still not used to South Auckland. I stick out like a sore thumb here. Me and my daughter Hedia were probably the whitest people in South Auckland. No. You following me around. Omi follows everyone. I do mental health streams on Mondays. This is this one. I do creative writing prompt streams on Fridays. We write some poetry. We do a creative writing sprint and ride along. So it's a prompt with a ride along if you choose to ride along. And I do, I'm a little bit of a, I like to shoot people on the game. Okay, we had to say this last week. Talia likes to shoot people. I only like to shoot people on the game. You know some translucent South Aucklanders. I love that. Thank you. So I play, right now I'm into Halo. I play Halo Infinite. After this stream, I'll be playing some Halo. I stop the stream and then start the shooty shoot stream so people don't get confused. I'm a little bit of a walking contradiction. I'm hard out into Halo Infinite ranked right now. I'm in Diamond trying to grind to Onyx. I dabble in Apex. I love COD. I'm a freak. I was a freak on and for Valorant. But that game is way too toxic. But I love to shooty shoots. I love to pew pew. So welcome in. This is my morning hangout spot. Yes, this is. You'll find Omi here. Okay, so we went way off on a tangent. Okay, we were just gonna read some types of self-care. We're up to the spiritual one actually. But welcome in, Luigi. It's nice to have you here. I've seen you playing Halo. I hear Valorant is hella toxic. Oh my god. You have no idea. Toxic is an understatement. Valorant makes me want to cry. Sorry, that's my fault. Back to the self-care. I'm all about balance. No, you're fine. Don't even stress. Valorant is... Like, my son's 11. I have like 11-year-olds on there telling me to go neck myself. It's the worst shit ever. Honestly. Valorant will never be as toxic as CS or League. Yeah, I've heard that, youth. I haven't played any of those, but I heard League. And that makes sense, Riot, right? They must just have that kind of toxic community. So yes, back to self-care. So we're up to spiritual. So we're saying that it's important to have time alone to meditate, prayer, to spend time in nature, and to have sacred space for yourself. This is my sacred space. Not so sacred because of my kids, but still sacred. Personal types of self-care include hobbies, creativity, setting goals, your identity, knowing your identity, and being authentic, your authenticity. This is a lot. This is me being authentic. This, I believe, is my identity. This is a goal for me to keep on keeping these mental health streams strong. I've been doing them for well over a year now, probably close to 2 years. I love them. I want to gain more traction with them. I want it to be a space that people are like, oh my God, Talia's live on Mental Mondays. Let's go. And it is a hobby. So personally, this is every box here for me. Streaming is for sure. If you aren't, I'm mouthy and a smart ass. Grew up with all boys. I've wound up so many toxic clowns. Oh my God, I wish I could be like that. I'm not like that. Right. If you aren't getting tilted or triggered, you aren't trying your best. Quote from them 2 years ago. Whoa, my younger cousin streams. He's a big teddy bear, and some of the toxic shits I've seen watching his streams is unreal, and they come into his chat and be toxic too. Relax. Yes. I don't tell people that I'm a streamer. They just look like fucking idiots on my stream. I have friends when I'm streaming who tell people that I'm a streamer. Yes. So this is my personal self-care. Space. You want to make sure that the space that you're in for self-care, that it's safe, it's in a healthy environment, that it feels stable, and it's a clean space. Financial. Self-care in a financial sense looks like saving and budgeting your money, like money management, paying your bills on time, and setting yourself financial boundaries. Very important. Like, girl, I know those pants look hella cool, but Do you want to spend $100 on pants, or do you want to spend $100 on groceries for the kids? You know what I'm saying? So got a bit of boundaries there. I used to be an HR manager. Half my job was in the mental health space. I love that, Luigi. Well, you would love this. Welcome in. I'm glad that you're here. You can give us tips too. I am a by trade. I'm a qualified support worker. I possess my support work qualifications, and I dabbled in the mental health side of it as well. But I was in the disability, and I did disability work, but I studied the mental health side. And I've always been a huge advocate of mental health. So, yeah, this is where these kind of stem from. I wanted to create a safe space. Is a qualified head case. Yeah, I had a beautiful client that I lost last year that I had for 2 years. She was my... I had her like 25 hours a week. She was 17. She passed away. She had a myriad of health issues, but I miss her every day. She passed away. I got really sick and got pneumonia in June. She was sick as well. I visited her just after I got out of hospital, and she died the next day. She had a heart issue, and she was Down syndrome and autistic and ADHD, and she was mute. She was my little sweetheart. She changed my life so much. Used to have her 5 hours a day, 5 days a week, and that was amazing. Before then, I was a support worker for an ex-prime minister, who I miss dearly as well. So my work has been hard. We went into lockdown after everything last year, and then I broke my leg, and I fell into a deep bout of depression for about 6-7 weeks. I didn't stream for that whole time either. I started streaming again in December, just before Christmas, when Halo came out. And so, yeah, my last mental health stream before the ones that I did was probably in September, October. And then, yeah, I've been consistent. This is the 3rd one for this year. So, yeah, my little brother suffers from mental health issues. My favourite brother too. So mental health care will always get my backing. We've had to pull him out of some pretty dark places. He spent his New Year's just gone in a psych ward. It broke my heart. Thank you for sharing, Luigi. He's very lucky to have somebody like you. I love that you can talk openly about it. I send so much love and support to your family. Keep being strong. Keep being, that anchor for him. And, I'm sure that even if it doesn't feel like it some days, I know that he most probably will always appreciate you guys for that. So my heart goes out to you. I'm going to give you a hug, okay? I always give you a hug. Hug. I don't know you, but I gives you a hug. You're appreciated. And I think that's a lovely thing that you can do for your brother. Talking about work, okay? Types of self-care in the work sector looks like time management, work boundaries, and making sure you have a damn break. That one's going out to NZism. You need to have a break, man. Have a break. Have a break, baby. Go and eat that kai. So that's what I wanted to just touch base on at the start. So if you have been in my streams lately, we have a question and answer a day. At the start of every stream, we're going through the date. So it's the 24th today. This spans over 5 years. So the 24th of January says, there's a question and you have to answer it, and you can do it over the next 5 years. It's got a space for all the years. If you were going to start your own company, what would it be? Girl. I'd sell prints of my poetry. Sell prints and books of my poetry. This will happen. My first one I would be, you guys know what my first one would be. It would be Supernova. If you guys don't know that poem, you will know that poem by the end of this stream. Because I'm mouthy and a smartass, not a lot of people got a chance to break down my will. Him, on the other hand, too many people have taken advantage of his good heart. He needs to be more of a jerk like me. I have a sister like that. And she's also the one that runs the... So usually I dissect and digest a podcast that my sister, one of my sisters, Pokarlla, has created. And we listen to it and we break it down and we dissect it and on stream. But today I read something that we will touch base with soon. I read something that really resonated with me and I wanted to share like my thoughts and feelings and kind of throw it around today. But... she, Pokarlla, suffers from kind of bipolar tendencies, pyroluria. She's gone and she's got her bachelor's in psychology and she master's in counselling because of the way that she felt and the way that she was. Like, I was petrified of my sister when we were younger. Okay, I'm not going to lie. She knows it. Everyone knows it. We didn't get along. We didn't get along until we fell pregnant at the same time, like her with her nephew and me with my son. And we were 20. So she's 10 months older than me. So we used to clash a lot. We're very different. Both very smart in different ways. And she would always say to me, "You're too fucking nice." Like, all the time. She'd be like, "You just let people walk all over you. Why can't you just be mean?" Like, she was just like straight up. She was just like, you wear your heart on your sleeve. You take care of an underdog all the time. Like, and she'd be like, "No. Fuck off." Like, that was just her answer to like everything kind of thing. If that makes sense. So it's like, I get that. I completely get that. I'm like your brother in that situation. I'm scary levels of overprotective of my brothers. I've got 7, one that passed away and raised 2 others, which is why I'm a pit bull. It's gotten to the point where they've stopped telling me when people do bad shit to them so I don't lose it. Aww. But I love that. You're like a lion. That's very sweet. They're lucky to have you. I feel like anyone would be lucky, so lucky to have you in their life. All right. So that was the question for this one. My cousin snitch instead. I love that. I love that. So it was, if you were going to start your own company, what would it be? And I wrote sell print and books of my poetry. Self-care is the next book we've been doing. Now, what I've been doing is I've been holding a thought in my head. When it comes to books that have affirmations or quotes in them, it's really, really good to kind of sit with it, breathe, and say, you know, open up to a page appropriate for me. So I'm going to do that. I opened up to this one last week. The make a cup of tea one. We got to reopen it. I already know that one. Love yourself. Learning to love yourself is like learning to walk. Essential, life-changing, and the only way to stand tall. Don't aim for perfection. Wherever perfectionism is driving us, shame is riding shotgun. I've read that book. That's by Brené Brown. She does this book called The Gift of Imperfections, and it is such a great read. Must have known I was making a cup of tea. Oh, I could read that one for you. It's actually a really nice one. I'll read it for you, youth. Can I have a cup of tea? Please. Where is it? No, I'm not going to be able to find it, eh? Oh. No. Jug's still hot. Do it yourself. Fine. I made me one this morning and I didn't like how it tasted. I can't find it, but I'm going to open up one for you, youth, okay? A completely different one. Are you ready? Oh my God. My fan's on me and it's making this one bit of hair come across my nostril and tickle it. Gross. Open up a page for youth. This is for you, youth. The secret is an extra half a teaspoon of sugar. I'm trying not to have sugar. Or if you really want the sweet to pop, a tiny pinch of salt. Ooh, yummy. I like salted caramel lattes, but the no sugar ones. Sing at the top of your lungs. The only thing better than singing is more singing. Create a positive playlist, youth. Music is probably the only real magic encountered in life. It's not some trick involved with it. It's pure and it's real. It moves and it heals. It communicates and it does all those incredible things. Create a positive playlist today. T-Hacks. Have a playlist for every mood. Let's go. And the I Am Calm journal. Now, these are just some tips. We've gone through colors for calm. We've gone through crystals. We've gone through aromatherapy. We've started the chakra map. We started looking at the chakras. Okay? So your 7th chakra is your crown, top of your head. Your 6th is your 3rd eye chakra. Your throat chakra is blue. Your heart chakra is the next one. Your solar plexus is the yellow, which is your 3rd. Your 2nd chakra is your sacral, which is your lower abdomen. And your 1st is your root chakra, the base of your spine. So at the base of your spine, so it says it here because she's sitting. But at the base of your spine, we call this the root chakra. It is your grounding energy, your sense of stability and security. The root chakra is associated with your most basic needs for survival: food, sleep, shelter, safety, and your physical self. It is literally your foundation, the building block on which all other chakras rest. When you have a clear root chakra, you will feel grounded, centered, and in control of your life, without fear, without anxiety, confident to stand up on your own 2 feet. The trust in yourself opens up trust in the universe, enabling you to loosen your grip on the reins of your life and simply go peacefully with the flow, secure in the knowledge that the universe has your back. If your root chakra is blocked, you may feel insecure, threatened, as if you're standing on shaky ground. This lack of confidence in your very foundations can create deep-seated feelings of fear and anxiety. Now, this is a practice called healing the root chakra. 1. My mum used to make us do this all the time. It's probably why I never wear shoes. Practice earthing, walking barefoot on grass or soil to recharge your root energy. 2. Observe daily moments of mindfulness, or even better, start a meditation practice. 3. Learn how to say no with confidence. 4. Listen to grounding music such as Mongolian throat singing, didgeridoo, or soft tones. Start a new hobby that requires you to work with your hands, something like woodwork, mosaics, drawing. 6. Practice grounding and calming yoga poses such as child's pose and forward bends. Who hasn't listened to the Mongolian throat music? I know my brother-in-law Archie, he linked me to my partner, who's his brother, Mongolian throat singing. I was like, what the fuck are we watching the first time? And then when I heard it with ears, oh my God. Guys, when I heard the music with ears, fuck. When I heard it with my ears on, with my headset on, man, that shit hit different. It's like the Gregorian chanting, like Halo. Practice grounding and calming yoga poses, ones such as the child's pose and forward bends. 7. Reflect, journal, or seek therapy to explore the root causes of any fears, anxiety, or unresolved pain you might have. Heal the root chakra and find your peace. Heal the root chakra and find your peace. Oh. Well, that was good. I love that. So these are the 3 books I've been going through this year so far. These ones. Ooh. I need to turn this fan back on because it is getting sweaty in here. No idea what it means, but I'll agree. Yes. All right. So what I wanted to talk about is this post that I came across. I follow this amazing, this lady, the holistic psychologist. the holistic psychologist. The holistic psychologist. And she always shares some really like, what's the word? Oh, I want to say inspirational, just stuff that really resonates with me, okay? Like hard out resonates with me. She done a post, her most recent post, and it was what no one tells us about being confident, successful, and our ability to have healthy relationships. Now, what she's written is, one of the greatest myths in our society is that if you just work hard and want it bad enough that you can be successful or lead a fulfilling and happy life. We do not understand that the biggest factor in experiencing success and fulfillment is our ability to regulate our emotions, or in simplest terms, to cope with stress, to cope with our overwhelming feelings and conflict in ways that have safe, clear communication free of shame. Many adults lack this skill, which is why adult tantrums are so common. Throwing things, screaming, name-calling, sulking, silent treatment, ghosting, and shaming people are all very common to see in both children and adults who are feeling overwhelmed. Tantrums do not end in childhood. For many, and myself included, if you've ever watched a child with a parent who's dysregulated and the parent becomes dysregulated, they would say things to you like, I'll give you something to cry about. Shut your mouth. Stop crying like a little brat. Don't cry like a baby. You're not a baby. One more time and I'm going to slap you. Why are you doing this to me? Complete withdrawal. The parent will ignore the child or completely pretend that they aren't there or not resolve the issue. Now, a number of things, okay? I'm a parent. I have 3 children. I have a boy, 11, 2 girls, 6 and 4. Well, she's nearly 5. Even though I was raised spiritually, I do have a lot. My mum did say all those things to me, actually. And my mum is a very enlightened being. But she was raised by a man who was abusive to her. A man who would hit first and talk later. And I suppose at my mum's core, she was quite like that with us. I remember a few times of my mum grabbing us like this when she was mad. I was told to shut up majority of my life, probably because I'm very loud and opinionated and curious and logical and all those wonderful things that I am. She always said, I'll give you something to cry about. You're not a baby, stop crying. If you keep doing that, I'm going to slap you. Why are you doing this to me? Now, I'm going to be brutally honest with you guys. I don't say those things exactly to my kids, but I say along the lines of that, and I'm not proud of it. It takes me, with my son, it was worse because I was a lot like my mum. I felt like I was a lot like my mum. In the way that she raised us. And there wasn't anything wrong with that. That's what my mum knew. That's the knowledge that she possessed. That's how she did it. I realized that it wasn't helping me and it wasn't helping my son. Every time I was going to that place, like, shut up, I felt the moment when I got told to shut up, or, you know, that what I was saying wasn't okay, that my feelings weren't valid. I do say, you're not a baby, don't cry like a baby. I don't say it in a mean way. I'll be like, oh, are you a baby or you're a big girl? I'm trying to do that. Okay, I do that thing. If you don't stop doing that, we're not going to go. Because a lot of the times my daughters have a hard time regulating and coming down from a high. And when I'm exactly like what they said, when I'm feeling dysregulated and they're dysregulated, all hell breaks loose. Like, I mean, communication wise, I just get so heightened and I have to breathe. And I'll be like, you know what? I'm not feeling okay. And this is how I'm feeling. And I need you guys to stop. Like, just stop. But with my son, it was more like, just shut the fuck up right now because, well, that's it. And then I would go and talk to him afterward when I was calm. Do you realize why mommy was mad? Do you understand why I acted in anger? And then we talk about it. So I suppose when I was teaching emotional intelligence to my son, it came from every time that I snapped at him and I wasn't proud of it, and then I would sit and I'd talk to him about it. If you see how these are said, why are you doing this to me? All that stuff, that's bringing the kid's shame. That's a huge one that I pull myself up on, and I try to say it in a different way. I'm constantly in my head trying different things all the time with how to deal with my children, and it can be draining as fuck. And James, my partner, he's very good at being on the same page with me, and if he sees that I'm getting heightened, he'll kind of like take the kids away, or he'll have a chat with them. We have a good system going on like that, and we also know when to recognize when we are dysregulated and when the kids are getting dysregulated. It's taken a lot of time for us to get to that point, and it's a practice that we practice all the time. So when these things happen, the complete withdrawal is a hard one. I'm not like that. I don't withdraw. I'm more attentive like that. But I am aware of people who are completely withdrawn from their children, or ignore them completely and pretend that they're not there or that they don't have any issues. So in these situations, when a parent is actually extremely dysregulated and is now blaming the child for their inability to regulate, they are overwhelmed and struggling to cope with the emotions that their child is bringing up for them. Children in these kind of homes learn that I cannot handle stress. Conflict is unsafe. I am shamed for feeling. I shame others when I feel intense emotions, and lashing out or shutting down is just how I relate to others. And then she goes on to say, in my home, my dad tended to cope through screaming or lashing out. My mum would give silent treatments for days or weeks. Of course, I struggle to regulate my emotions. I can easily become emotionally flooded, anxious, disassociated. I'm on a journey of learning what I actually feel and how I react to certain things. We can all learn to regulate our emotions as adults with self-compassion, consistency, and commitment. In the process, we will have more confidence, more self-trust, and healthier relationships. This is how we create successful, happy, fulfilled lives of purpose. This is how we become a self-healer. So some big tips from that is, what no one tells us about being confident and successful and the ability to have healthy relationships. We have been told that success or happiness comes from things like hard work, ambition, or the want to have a better life. As a society, we look at people who don't reach their potentials as morally wrong, failures, or people who just don't want it bad enough. The truth is that your professional life, your relationship, your health, and your emotional well-being and what you think, how you behave, and how you feel is based on your ability to regulate your own emotions. We learn emotional regulation as children from our parent figures who model emotional regulation. Emotional regulation is the ability to confidently deal with stressful emotions, situations, with grace, calmness, clarity, and empathy. How your parents handled their problems or their conflict in life will be the way you handle your own stresses and your own problems in your life. If you grow up around a parent or parents who cope by screaming, slamming things, ghosting, giving silent treatments, drinking, using substances, or avoidance, you'll struggle to regulate your emotions in one way or another. Many people work very hard and generally want to have a better life experience or want to feel happy. The truth is that all of us can begin the practice of learning to regulate our emotions with self-compassion and consistency. Now, this is what I wanted to talk about. This is some practices on emotional regulation. 1, identify your emotions. Start to ask yourself, what is it that I'm feeling right now? Seriously, next time you're feeling super, super overwhelmed, be like, What am I feeling? Jealousy. What am I feeling? Sadness. What am I feeling? Anxiety. Now witness how you immediately react to the situation when you feel that way. So if you're feeling nervous, anxious, or overwhelmed, try and witness it as if you're like outside looking in. Pause. Learn to pause before going into an automatic reaction. Deep breathing helps here. Okay, this was huge for me. I needed to learn how to breathe. Otherwise, I just kept lashing out at the kids with my emotional responses. Okay, deep breathing helps. There's this good one that you can do where use your nose, you block off one side, and you breathe up through the unblocked side. So, and then you hold it, and then you block this side off, and you breathe up through this one. Now, it really forces you to be into the present, and you do that for a number of like breaths, and it seriously calms you down so much. Let it pass. After you pause, after you breathe, after you witness the emotion passing, the strong emotions come and go all day long, but you don't need to react to every emotion that you're feeling, okay? Just try and let it pass. It's okay. Stop self-shaming. People who struggle to regulate their emotions tend to be very harsh or very critical, as their parent was or as a parent was, to themselves. This is a mantra you can say. I can handle difficult emotions. I am strong. I am proud of me. Now, I read this morning, and it just really, I resonated with it so much. Like, you cannot believe how much I resonated with it. And that mantra is fantastic. I can handle difficult emotions. I am strong. I am proud of me. So I think that's something that we can all take today. If there's anything I want you guys to take from today, is something like that. Something about, how you're feeling, that it's okay to feel like that. You don't have to shame yourself for feeling a certain way. And I really hope that helped anybody today, because sometimes we just need to hear it, Sometimes we just need to hear it. Now, what I want to do is, when I am going to play some Halo, but I'm going to read out Supernova. Okay, Supernova is my jam. Supernova is my jam. Supernova. This is the poem that everybody loves. This is the poem. This is Talia's poem. This is what I read when we end our streams, when we want to go about our days feeling uplifted. I will end this stream, and I will come back with some Halo. So I'll end it on Supernova, and I just want to say thank you, guys. Thank you, Youth. Thank you, Luigi. Thank you, Tum Tum. Thank you, Omi, for coming in. Thank you, James, for coming in and for just being here. Having support when I do these mental health streams is super important for me, and honestly, I just love that you guys want to listen. So thank you. I'm going to read Supernova now, and I will see you again very soon, and tune in next week for the mental health talk as well. I'd love to have you here every time. Supernova, we got to say it from our chest, okay? I am a brilliant star cluster merging galaxies, the brightest of the bright. I am a collision right to my core of enormous concentrations of dark matter intertwined with intense light, forever building up inside me. I am a whole dang universe about to be reborn. Supernova. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you. Bye.